You can't drive a car looking in the rearview mirror. You just can't. If you try, you're gonna crash. That mirror is small for a reason. It's there so you can glance back, not stare back. The windshield is 10 times bigger because what's in front of you is far more important than what's behind you. Some of y'all are stuck in life because you keep driving forward while your eyes are locked on what already happened. You keep replaying the hurt, the failure, the mistake, the person who left, the opportunity you lost. And you wonder why you can't move ahead. You can't see what's coming if you're obsessed with what's gone. The past can't change, no matter how long you stare at it, but the future can shift in a moment if you start focusing on where you're going. The rearview mirror is smaller for a reason, because what's behind you isn't meant to take up more space than what's ahead of you. That little mirror up there, it's there so you can glance back, so you can check what's coming up behind you, but it was never meant to be your focus. Yet so many people live their lives staring into that tiny reflection of the past. They keep watching what's gone instead of what's coming. They sit behind the wheel of their life, driving forward while their eyes are locked on what already happened. And then they wonder why they keep crashing into the same walls, hitting the same problems, ending up in the same situations. You can't expect to go anywhere new when your eyes are glued to the past. You can't move forward if your attention is stuck on where you've already been. The past is like an old town you've already driven through. You saw the signs, you hit the bumps, you know where the potholes are, but you're not supposed to go back and live there. When you drive a car, your eyes belong on the road in front of you. Sure, you can glance in that mirror every now and then to make sure you are safe to see what's coming from behind. But if you keep staring into it, you'll lose sight of what's ahead. That's how life works. The future is a wide open road. It's your destination. It's full of potential, opportunity, and blessings waiting to unfold. The rearview mirror, though, that's your past. The people who left, the mistakes you made, the pain you endured, the things that didn't work out. It's smaller because those things were never meant to take up more of your vision than your purpose does. Yet many people treat their rearview mirror like it's their GPS, like it's supposed to tell them where to go next. They let their past dictate their direction, and that's why they stay stuck in the same cycles. That small mirror is a reminder that the past is a reference, not a residence. You can look back to remember how far you've come, to learn from it, to avoid making the same wrong turns, but you're not supposed to live back there. You can't experience new blessings while holding on to old pain. You can't step into the next season of your life while you're still replaying the last one. Some people miss what's in front of them because they're too busy staring at what they lost. They keep talking about what went wrong, who did them wrong, how things used to be, and they miss the beauty of what's unfolding right in front of them. The road ahead is bigger, brighter, and full of purpose, but you'll never see it if your attention stays stuck on that tiny mirror hanging in front of you. You can't move forward if your focus is stuck on yesterday. That's the truth most people don't want to hear, because it's easier to keep replaying what went wrong than it is to face what's next. But the past is a closed chapter. You can read it again, you can study it, you can even cry over it, but you can't rewrite it. What happened, happened. The relationship ended, the opportunity slipped away, the job didn't work out, the dream didn't go the way you planned, but none of that means your life is over. It just means it's time to shift your focus. The longer you stare at yesterday, the blurrier tomorrow becomes. You can't walk into your future if your heart and mind are still sitting in a moment that's gone. Every minute you spend reliving the past is a minute stolen from your destiny. The reason some people never see progress in life isn't because they lack ability or opportunity, but because they refuse to let go of what's behind them. They carry old pain, old guilt, old anger like luggage they never put down. You can't climb if you're weighed down by what's already done. You can't heal if you keep reopening the same wounds. You can't build something new if your foundation is still tied to something broken. Yesterday's pain was meant to teach you, not trap you. But too many people treat their past like a home instead of a teacher. They stay there replaying what they could have said, what they should have done, who they should have been, but you can't change what's gone. You can only decide how you'll use it. Life is about direction. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. If you keep your focus on yesterday, you'll keep living there. But if you lift your eyes and start focusing on where you're going, your life begins to move forward. Growth doesn't happen in reverse. It happens when you take your eyes off the pain and put them on the promise. Every new day, wow, a wake up with breath in your lungs is proof that the story isn't done yet. But you'll never know what's possible if you're too busy staring at what's past. You have to train your mind to let go of what's already over. The lesson is in the experience, not the regret. The blessing is in the move forward, not the looking back. Your future isn't hiding in yesterday's mistakes. It's waiting in tomorrow's opportunities. The moment you stop letting your past control your focus, your life starts to move in the direction it was always meant to go. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Too many people live like they're prisoners of what they've been through instead of students of what they've learned. Everybody's got a past. Some full of mistakes, some full of pain, some full of moments you wish you could take back. But you can't let what happened yesterday chain you down today. The only reason the past exists is to teach you something about who you are and who you're supposed to become. If you failed, that wasn't the end. It was instruction. If you got hurt, that wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every setback, they're not there to define you. They're there to refine you. You've got to stop carrying the weight of old pain like it's your identity. You're not what happened to you, you're what you learned from it. When people keep living in their past, it's usually because they've confused their experience with their worth. They think because something went wrong, they're wrong. Because something failed, they're failures. But that's not how growth works. When a tree loses its leaves, it doesn't stop being a tree. It's just going through a season. And that's what the past is, a season, not a sentence. Some seasons are rough, some cold, some lonely, but they don't last forever. The past was never meant to hold you hostage. It's meant to give you perspective. The pain you went through taught you strength. The rejection you faced taught you value. The mistakes you made taught you wisdom. But none of that can work for you if you keep reliving the same story instead of learning the lesson. Sometimes the hardest part about moving forward is forgiving yourself for what you didn't know back then. You were doing the best you could with what you had, and that's something people forget. Growth means you're not the same person you used to be, so stop judging yourself for what the old version of you did. You've learned, you've changed, you've evolved. The past was a classroom, not a cage. It taught you who to trust, what to value, and how to get back up. The real tragedy isn't making mistakes, it's never learning from them. The moment you start treating your past as education instead of condemnation, everything shifts. You stop feeling trapped and you start feeling equipped. You stop saying, I can't believe I did that, and start saying, I'm thankful I grew from that. The past can either be the thing that holds you back or the thing that builds you up. It all depends on how you choose to see it. Your windshield is bigger because your future matters more than your past. When you sit in a car, it's clear what's important. That big, wide piece of glass in front of you is designed to show you where you're going, not where you've been. The rearview mirror is small because the past doesn't deserve that much of your attention. Yet too many people live their lives backward. They spend their time staring at old memories, old regrets, old failures, when life is trying to show them a whole new road ahead. You can't move forward if you keep comparing what's in front of you to what's behind you. The design of that car is a message in itself. The biggest view belongs to your future. What's coming matters more than what's gone. So many people let their past dictate how they live. They think because something didn't work out once, it'll never work again. Because they were hurt before, they'll always be hurt. Because they failed before, they'll never succeed. But that's not how life works. The road ahead is filled with new opportunities, new chances, new blessings, but you'll never see them if you're too focused on what's behind you. Your past is proof of where you've been, but your windshield shows you where you can go. And the beautiful thing about life is that no matter how many wrong turns you've made, you can always change direction. You can always hit that gas pedal and move forward. You just have to stop staring at that mirror long enough to see the open highway in front of you. Think about it. When you're driving, you don't look through the rearview mirror for guidance. You look through the windshield to see the light ahead, to spot the road signs, to navigate the journey that's still waiting. The past might have potholes, traffic jams, and detours, but your windshield gives you vision. It gives you clarity. It gives you hope. That's why it's bigger. Life wants you to focus more on what's ahead because your future still has so much potential. The past may have broken pieces, but the road in front of you is still being paved. Every new mile represents a chance to do better, to try again, to live differently. The problem is, most people are afraid to look ahead because the future feels uncertain. The past, even when painful, feels familiar, but staying stuck in familiar pain will only rob you of future peace. The windshield is wide because possibility is wide. It's your reminder that no matter how dark yesterday was, there's light waiting ahead. You just have to lift your eyes, take your hands off the brakes of fear, and trust the direction you're being led toward. Stop replaying old mistakes. They're not part of your next chapter. One of the biggest traps people fall into is letting their minds become a highlight reel of everything that went wrong. They keep pressing rewind on moments they wish they could change, conversations they wish they could redo, choices they wish they hadn't made. But you can't heal if you keep reliving what hurt you. You can't move forward if your mind is stuck in replay mode. Every time you go back to that old mistake, you're giving it power it doesn't deserve. You're allowing something that's already over to keep writing chapters in a story it no longer belongs to. Mistakes are supposed to teach you, not torment you. You're supposed to learn the lesson, not live in the memory. Everybody makes mistakes. Every successful person, every happy person, every fulfilled person has a trail of wrong turns behind them. The difference is they didn't let those moments define their direction. They took the lesson, adjusted their steps, and kept moving. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Each mistake is like a brick. You can either carry it as a burden or use it to build something stronger. But you can't do both. When you keep replaying what went wrong, you're choosing to carry weight that was never meant to be permanent. Some people never experience freedom because they built a prison out of their regrets. They wake up every day reliving something they can't change, and in doing that, they keep missing what could be changing right now. The beauty of life is that every sunrise is another chance. You're not defined by your last mistake unless you decide to stop growing after it. The people who move ahead aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who refuse to stay stuck. You can't start your next chapter if you keep rereading the last one. That pain you feel when you think about what went wrong is just a sign that you've grown. You're not the same person who made that decision. You know better now. You've learned something new. And that knowledge is what prepares you for what's next. When you're writing a story, you don't keep editing the same page forever. You finish it, you turn it, and you start the next one. Life works the same way. The more you focus on what's behind you, the longer you delay what's in front of you. Your next blessing, your next opportunity, your next breakthrough can't come if your mind is still anchored in yesterday's regret. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting that it's over and that it no longer belongs in your current season. What's done is done. The only direction worth moving is forward. Every setback was meant to redirect you, not define you. Sometimes life will shut doors you were convinced were meant to open. You'll lose jobs, relationships, opportunities, and moments that felt like they were supposed to be yours. And in those moments, it's easy to feel like you failed or that you've been forgotten. But the truth is, every single detour in your life has a reason behind it. You might not see it when it happens, but eventually you'll realize that what you thought was rejection was actually redirection. Life doesn't take things from you without having something better waiting ahead. The challenge is learning to trust the process while it's happening. Setbacks are not signs that you're unworthy. They're proof that you're being rerouted towards something that fits you better. When something falls apart, your first instinct is to fight it, to question why it happened, to hold on to it tighter. But sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you ends up being the best thing for you. Maybe that job you lost was keeping you from discovering your purpose. Maybe that relationship that ended was stopping you from meeting the right person. Maybe that plan that failed was clearing space for something you couldn't have imagined yet. You'll never know what's waiting for you if you keep staring at what didn't work out. Life has a way of using pain to point you in the right direction. You can't see the full map when you're in the middle of the journey, but one day when you look back, you'll see how all the wrong turns connected to the right destination. The problem is, people take setbacks personally. They start believing that when things go wrong, it means they're not good enough or that life is against them. But the truth is, the delay is often protection. Sometimes you're not being denied, you're being prepared. If everything you wanted happened when you wanted it, you wouldn't be ready to handle it. The process of losing, failing, and trying again builds character. It builds resilience. It builds understanding. The moments that broke you are the same moments that are shaping you. You can't grow without struggle, and you can't reach purpose without pain. When life redirects you, it's not punishing you, it's guiding you. Every closed door, every no, every loss is a signal to shift your focus. You were never meant to stay where you started. Growth requires movement, and movement often comes through discomfort. The sooner you learn to see setbacks as setups, the sooner you'll stop resisting change and start embracing it. What feels like a breakdown today might be the very thing that leads to your breakthrough tomorrow. What feels like an ending might just be the start of something new. The journey doesn't always make sense while you're walking it, but that's because you're being positioned for something greater than what you lost. You can't keep growing if you keep comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Too many people get caught up looking at what everybody else is doing. Who's ahead? Who's winning? Who's living the life they want? And they end up losing sight of their own journey. You see someone driving the car you want, living in the house you dream of, taking the vacations you can't afford yet, and suddenly you start feeling like you're behind. But what you don't see is what they had to go through to get there. You don't see the sleepless nights, the failures, the sacrifices, the tears they shed when nobody was watching. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel, and that's a game you'll never win. Everyone's race is different. Everyone's timing is different, and trying to measure your progress against someone else's will only rob you of gratitude for where you are now. The truth is, comparison kills momentum. It steals joy, confidence, and focus. When you're too busy watching someone else's lane, you start drifting out of your own. You stop investing in your growth because you're too focused on their success. You start doubting your own path because you think theirs looks easier, but nobody's path is easy. It's just that people only show you the part that looks good. You've got to understand that your story is being written one page at a time, and every page has a purpose. Some chapters are about struggle, some are about breakthrough, some are about waiting, and some are about winning. But you can't skip ahead. You've got to go through it to get to it. When you start focusing on your journey, something powerful happens. You begin to appreciate your own pace. You start realizing that your growth may not look like theirs, but it's still growth. You stop chasing validation from others and start chasing purpose. You understand that success does and have a deadline, and that progress, even when it's slow, is still progress. You learn to celebrate small victories because they're proof that you're moving forward. Every step you take, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to where you're supposed to be. The more you focus on what's in front of you, the more your life begins to align with who you're meant to become. Comparison doesn't just make you feel less than Teke, it blinds you to what's already good in your life. It keeps you in a constant state of dissatisfaction because you're measuring happiness with someone else's ruler. The goal isn't to beat anyone else to the finish line. The goal is to keep moving forward even when nobody's clapping. Your time will come when it's supposed to. You've got to stop looking around and start looking within. That's where your real growth lives. not in what others are doing, but in how you keep showing up every single day, despite how far you still have to go. You can't drive into your future if you keep stopping to argue with people who are stuck in your past. There will always be people who remember you for who you were, not for who you're becoming. They'll bring up your mistakes, your failures, the times you fell short, and they'll try to use them to define you. But those people aren't living your journey. They're spectators who got too comfortable sitting in your history. When you start growing, evolving, and stepping into new versions of yourself, it makes others uncomfortable because they can't fit the old image of you into your new reality. That's why you gotta learn to let them talk, let them doubt, and let them misunderstand, because none of that has the power to stop what's meant for you. You've already paid the price for your past, so there's no need to keep proving you've changed. Your progress will speak louder than your explanations ever could. There's a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, because what's ahead of you is far more important than what's behind you. You can glance at the past to learn from it, but you can't keep staring at it if you want to move forward. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every setback was a lesson. Some people stay trapped in their pain because they keep replaying what went wrong instead of recognizing what it taught them. Growth requires letting go, and letting go means accepting that some doors are meant to stay closed. You can't carry yesterday's baggage into tomorrow's blessings. When you make peace with your past, you make room for your future. You've got to stop dragging old guilt, old relationships, and old regrets into every new chapter, or you'll never have space to receive what's next. The people who doubt you today might be the same ones trying to understand how you did it tomorrow. That's why you can't waste your energy trying to convince anyone. Your job isn't to prove, it's to move. You've got to keep going even when it feels like nobody's cheering for you, because eventually the results will be too loud to ignore. The version of you that made mistakes isn't who you are now. The version of you that gave up back then isn't the same one showing up today. You've grown through things that would have broken you years ago, and that's something to be proud of. The truth is, progress feels lonely sometimes. You'll lose people, you'll lose comfort, and you'll lose pieces of your old self that you once thought you needed. But every time you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for what's better. The past can't drive the car anymore. It had its turn. Now it's your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your future waiting up ahead. And the only way to get there is by refusing to let what's behind you control the direction of where you're going next. Every single person has a chapter of their life they wish they could rewrite, moments they regret, decisions they change, words they wish they hadn't said, opportunities they let slip by. But here's the thing, life doesn't let you rewrite, it lets you redeem. You can't go back and fix what happened, but you can decide what you're going to do with it. The past is a teacher, not a prison. Too many people spend their lives chained to the what ifs and should haves, when what they should really be asking is, what now? That's the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. You can't allow regret to be the anchor that keeps you from sailing into new waters. You've got to take what you've learned, own your mistakes, forgive yourself, and use that pain as fuel. Growth doesn't come from pretending the past didn't happen. It comes from refusing to let it define your destination. There's something powerful about forgiving yourself. Most people are experts at extending grace to others, but harsh critics of themselves. They replay old failures over and over like a broken record, thinking if they beat themselves up enough, they'll somehow make it right. But forgiveness isn't about pretending the wound didn't happen. It's about saying, I've learned from it and I refuse to carry it any longer. The moment you release yourself from guilt, you reclaim your power. Guilt keeps you stuck in yesterday. Grace moves you toward tomorrow. The person you were when you made that mistake didn't have the wisdom you have now. You've grown, you've changed, and you've earned the right to move on without apology. You can't keep driving forward if every time you hit a bump, you stop to look back at the road you've already traveled. Regret has a way of distracting you from progress. It whispers that you've gone too far off course, that you've messed up too badly to start again. And the truth is, every person who's ever achieved anything worthwhile has a past filled with detours, wrong turns, and flat tires. The journey to success is messy, unpredictable, and full of restarts. What separates those who make it from those who don't isn't perfection, it's persistence. You can't fix the past, but you can keep getting better with every mile. And that's what it's all about, learning how to turn pain into purpose. Those lessons you learned the hard way are the same ones shaping your wisdom now. The heartbreak that once crushed you is what taught you what love really means. The failures that embarrassed you are the same ones that built your strength. The rejections that made you doubt yourself are what taught you resilience. The past doesn't exist to haunt you, it exists to prepare you. The longer you spend looking in the rearview mirror, the less you'll see of what's waiting ahead. Life rewards those who learn, who let go, and who keep driving forward, even when the road behind them is filled with memories they'd rather forget. Life will always test your ability to move on. You'll have moments when you lose something or someone you thought you couldn't live without. You'll have seasons where doors slam in your face, people turn their backs, or life throws you off the path you thought was yours. And when that happens, it's natural to feel lost. But holding on to what's gone will only rob you of what's coming. You can't receive new blessings when your hands are still gripping old pain. Sometimes the reason life takes something away is because it's clearing space for something greater. You may not see it now, but every closed door, every disappointment, every goodbye has a hidden lesson, a redirection that's preparing you for the next chapter. The challenge is not to fight the change, but to trust that it's working for your good. There's a power that comes with knowing when to walk away. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It takes strength to say, I deserve more than this, and step out of a situation that no longer serves you. Too many people stay stuck because they fear the unknown more than they hate the pain they're in. But the truth is, you can't grow in a place that's shrinking you. Sometimes walking away isn't about giving up. It's about choosing peace over chaos, purpose over comfort, and self-worth over approval. You've got to stop begging people to stay. Stop chasing things that aren't meant for you and start trusting that what's meant for you will never need convincing. The past can become a dangerous comfort zone. It's familiar, predictable, and easy to revisit because it doesn't demand change. But growth demands that you leave behind who you used to be, even when that person feels safer. Every new level of your life requires a new version of you, one that's willing to release old patterns, old relationships, and old ways of thinking. You can't step into your destiny wearing yesterday's mindset. The longer you hold on to what was, the longer you delay what could be. You've got to stop seeing endings as punishments and start seeing them as preparation for something bigger. Life doesn't subtract without adding. It just takes time for the addition to reveal itself. There comes a moment when you realize that your future is far more valuable than your past. The hurt you've carried, the mistakes you've made, the people who've left, they've all served their purpose. They've taught you what strength looks like, what boundaries mean, and what you truly deserve, but now you have to move differently. You can't drive your life forward looking in the rearview mirror. You can't build a new chapter while rereading the last one. The only way to honor the lessons of your past is to use them to make better choices in your present. Walking away isn't losing. It's creating room for the blessings that have been waiting for you all along. The moment you release what's behind you, you open the door to everything that's meant to find you next.